Alright, we're back. So it cools, it expands slightly, but it's almost sticking right now. So it's a bit tighter on one side than the other. So as it cools, it kind of expands up a little bit again. But you can see how it's pliable, you can play with it. If you want to, you can heat it all up, put clothes clamps on it, let it dry like that, and probably expand up when you're done, it'd be perfect. But for now, it'll work just fine for what I need. Okay, so here's our new fork. Right there. Our bushings. So, extra parts going everywhere. Yep. There we go. Extra parts. So the big fat bushing is the lower one, the skinny one is your upper one. So these are new ones. So the bottom one goes around the tube here, so the coating's on the outside. On this one here, it presses in, so the coating's on the inside. So the fork sees the wearable coating on here, which is some kind of a nylon graphite coating. Maybe a little Teflon in there, but probably not. It costs too much. Okay, so we're going to have the washer here and the tool. Get our sleeve. Goes like that. So let's bring it to that you're actually seeing, because this vise is in the way. Down a lower level, you can see a little better. Okay, so washer's in there, sleeves in there. So our beat tool is ready to go beat on this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so there's taking our upper bushing, put that on there, like that. It'll work. Always like to put a little oil on here, and I do not bring any fork oil down. No fork oil. Yeah, I go get some fork oil. We'll be back. Alright, we're back. So I got some fork oil, 15 weight. Stock is 10 weight. Heavy duty is going to be like a 20, and 15's in the middle. 10 is super soft, which I don't like. Sometimes 20 weight it doesn't move, other times it works good. So I put 15 in because it usually works all the time. I had nobody ever complained about 15 weight not being working. If the oil's too stiff, it won't even move. It just tires, bounces. So I used a 15. If it's still too soft, and I say change it, put 20 in it. If it's too stiff with the 20, you have to take it back out and do the 15. That's more work. It's not too hard to swallow, go the sticker off. So this here, so just take a little dab of that, go like this, oil on there, oil up all your surfaces. I don't like having a dry installation of anything. Okay, so put our bushing on there, rub it around a little bit. It's well lubed now. Here's our lower bushing. It's just kind of expanded up a little bit. If you have something for the fork to push against, it works better than slipping on the table. But there you go. Just expand it with your fingers, stick it in there a little bit. Put you in there a little bit, you take a screwdriver and spread it. Take a larger blade and just spread it like this here. It goes in there a little easier. So you could just slide it right on, it doesn't really hurt anything. So, alright, there you go. It's on there. Take a little bit of oil you had right there, extra. Put it on the surface over here, because this is actually the bearing surface now. Okay, here we go. Grab a fork, slider. Okay, so this is the old piece that goes on the bottom of the dampener tube over here. That goes on there. Now these can fall off on you if you're not careful when you're assembling it. So what I like to do is dimple it, squash it. Flatten it out a little bit so it goes down a little harder. There you go. Won't fall off now. See, it comes off, but it's tight. Of course, every time you do it, it gets looser, and now it's loose again. Hit it again. You don't screw with it. So it'll stay on there for a little while like that without a problem. Okay, so we got our slider here. So we're going to go ahead and beat the bushing in here. Clean the muck out of there a little bit on the top. Make sure you don't have too much crap on the bottom. This one's not too bad. Okay, now go ahead and we're going to slide this bushing into here is what we're going to do. So it goes over that bushing there. Go all the way to the bottom. Now it's going to go like this and slide it all together. So that's spread out so much. See how much that's spread out? That means it went over the it went over this bushing instead of shoving the bushing in there, so it didn't work. So being split is probably not the way to do it. There we go. Yeah, it only went in there about halfway and stopped. Okay, so now we need to come up with a method to fix that problem. So we put a hose clamp around that. It should make it strong enough. Hopefully it'll go in all the way and stay. So now you just figure out where hose clamps are around this place. That's going to be another problem. Every time you want to do something different, we've got another problem. Okay, I'll be back. Go find me a hose clamp. Okay, I'm back. So I found a couple hose clamps in Dad's stuff because I didn't have any. So Dad's bailing me out again. Oh, where's the cigarette? So I got to see if I can get this to go big enough to go around that big tube. So I'm going to pull this off. Pull this off. Yep, that works. So we'll leave this just tight enough that it'll slide up when it hits on it. Should keep it relatively close. Yeah, it's got some pretty good tension on that now. Loosen it up a little bit. Put a little bit of tension on it. So I got about a 1/4 inch of clearance. So I gave it about a 1/4 inch of clearance. Still gonna have to hit that and go deeper, but I can always move it. Let's see what happens this time. Sounds pretty solid. Let's loosen up a little bit. Take a look in there. Nope. Needs to go further than that. See, it's in there, working its way down in there, but it's got to go deeper. So I think we went about half of what we needed. So I'll give the clamp another 1/4 inch gap here. Put a little tension on that. Keep it together. Try it again. Going pretty hard. I might not have the clamp on. Might have the clamp on too hard, maybe. So it's working its way down, but it's still not all the way. You know what I should have done? If I put the steel washer in there first, then that will stop the from eating up the clamp, eating up that thing there. We have extra washers, so it's not a problem. So we'll put this in there first. That hits on top of the bushing in there. So now it won't ride up this so hard. I'm still going to put the clamp on there. We'll put another washer here. So I'm going to put just enough tension on this so it will slide, but not so much that it won't move. So it's got a little tension on it too, not much. Okay. And I know I need to raise it up a little bit higher than that. About right there. Okay. Now let's see what happens. I'm also going to put this on the table. So it's got a little bit harder of a hit on it. Sounds pretty solid. Hard to see in there. I think it's good enough. Yeah, I don't feel the bushing sticking up. What are you looking at me for? Could be looking down here. So I'm using the screwdriver as an indicator in there to see if the bushing is sticking up any higher than the tube is. I think it's all the way down. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off now. We'll take a look at it. Pull everything off. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's in there all the way. I think that worked pretty good. So it looks like it's down in there where it belongs. It's in there flush, it looks like. Both sides. So there we go. Alright, so we got that one in there. Should have this on a piece of wood so we don't bang the screws up too bad. Another piece of wood right here we can use for that purpose. Should use that before. Dumbass wasn't paying attention. Gotta watch out for that guy. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the seal in here. So here's our seal. So you got spring-loaded lip on top, spring-loaded lip on the bottom. So usually on a fork seal you have 2 or 3 seal lips here on the bottom and only 1 on the top. Sharp edge there, so you got 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top. We can kind of see it. Also you see there's a starting lip on this one to start it. So that definitely would go in that way. But if you didn't know for sure, you look at the seal lip and you would know. So what I do is I wipe it off first. Make sure there's no dirt on there. Then I put a little bit of oil on there to make sure it's not dry. Just take a little bit of oil. Make sure it's got a little moisture all the way around in there. Have a little bit on the tube there. Finger's all wet anyway, might as well use it. Okay. Seal goes up over the top. So kind of go in there a little bit sideways, kind of wiggle around until it drops down. Should have nice, good, even tension going down both directions if you're doing it right. So you slide it all the way down the bottom. There. I went in halfway by hand. We have 1 washer. Sharp edge down. We got our seal driver. That's our new fancy name for this tool. We got got another washer, sharp edge down again. And then I got the wrong driver. But with all our modifications, it works. Okay, we're going to put this up on the block this time. When you hear that metallic hit, you're all the way down. Pull off your excess stuff. And when you look in there, you should be below the snap ring. Should be below the snap ring groove of the washer when it's in there correctly. So you just take your new snap ring, right on down in there. And if you squeeze it with your fingers, like that, it's hard to do with one hand though. So you squeeze it like this, push with the back finger over here. It's easier to do with two hands because the fork's sliding over. So anyway, you can just squeeze it together and push it in and it goes right in easily without a problem. Yep. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Okay, it's in most of the way, but not all the way because my fingers don't go down the groove. So it's in all the way on this side over here. So all you do is take a little small screwdriver, something preferably not very sharp. Pop in here, go pop in there. That means you're in there. Look over here, make sure it's all the way in. Make sure it's all the way in. I usually push on it just to make sure. Feels good. Doesn't hurt to slide it. If you can slide it, you know it's in the groove. You can hold it. Got our boot, and we're on. Okay, we got our Allen wrench here. So you can get that Allen line up in there. Hopefully it's lining up, but you can hear it in there not quite hitting where you want it to. So you need to take a Phillips screwdriver. Try to get it to where it needs to be. It's got tension on it going upwards. Putting pressure on it, it went pop. That's when that aluminum bushing popped in the hole where it belonged. So now, this goes in no problem. This will start in there easily. Yep. It lines up now. Okay, I take a little 3-bond sealer, I put it on both sides of the washer, so it's all nice and gray. I goop it in, but I don't put it on the threads. And we need an air line. And we're done. Always cover up the oil. You don't want anything to fall in there. When it falls over, it makes a big mess. So, not that I would ever knock it over, of course. Never. Okay, so we get our 3-bond sealer, which is that, in case nobody can figure out what 3-bond is. It's like Yama bond. I hear there's a GM bond now. All kinds of fancy names for this stuff. It's called sealer. Okay, so if the screw goes on the floor, it makes it a lot easier. Keep your tube upright, it doesn't drain out. Screw, blow dirt off. take 3 bond. Nice coat all the way around it, like that. Find your driver. Take your washer. Make sure the sharp edge is up. Put another layer on top of that. Make sure it's evenly coated. Wipe off your finger helps. I just insert it in a hole. Get it started. You give it 2 blips of the air gun. Maybe 1 blip. 2 blips. I think 1 is all needed. With 180 pounds of pressure, you don't need too much double blipping with this gun. Okay, so that one's all in there. So we put the axle cap on there now. So the axle cap is marked out, so that goes on the outside. That'd be the outside of the fork, not the outside of the house. In case you didn't understand what that meant. Okay. Make sure you got about a 100th gap on there at least, 1/8 inch. You got room for the axle going there, no problem. Okay, that one is done. So that's all assembled, good to go. Goes up and down, like it's supposed to. There we go. Oil on the floor for some reason. And we don't have any oil in it, we'll put the oil in later because this hole here was open. So if this hole wasn't open, then you got to take this off, put oil in and put the top back in. So luckily this one we don't have to do that. So now this can go up into the bike and we can do the other one. As long as you do one of these at a time, over here, the fork will stay straight. You'll make sure the flat right here goes even with the hole, so when you put a bolt in there, you don't screw up the tube. Put it in all the way. Go ahead and tighten up your pinch bolt a little bit. Not super tight, just enough to hold the fork. It doesn't rotate, it's good enough for now. Now when you pull this all the way up, you'll loosen this up slightly and then do it again. So we're not going to do that right now because we have to put oil in there yet. So anyway, there's your new tube. So you can't really tell it's longer than the other one, but I guarantee you that this here is not supposed to be up here, it's supposed to be down here, so it's definitely longer. Okay, you get cleaned up, we'll be right back and do the other side.